everybody, and welcome to Screen Geeks, a live talk show where we talk about all things on screens, like shows,
like YouTube channels.
Ralph, there was never a thing you weren't able to plug.
The last time I did it, everyone was all on board, and I got two of the everyone to subscribe.
Listen,
so I'm putting it right down here.
It's tough to get subscribers.
I know. I just need 7 more. If I can get 7 more to get 100,
yeah,
then I can change it. I could change my.
There you go. All right. Hopefully, everybody's doing well out there. Ralph, how are you doing, good sir?
I'm doing well. Doing well.
We took last week off because it was Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
We probably should have announced that before, but I didn't even think about it. And then I was like, oh yeah, you're right. It's Thanksgiving. I don't know if we'll be around. I don't know. What were we watching? We're watching a movie. I can't remember what movie. Oh, did we do Die Hard? I think we did Die Hard. Anyways, my Thanksgiving night.
Not Bill and Ted 3.
Okay, listen. I'm sorry.
Don't apologize to me. Apologize to Keanu and Alex Winters.
Oh, they're doing fine. I don't worry about them. Jake Griffith says, I'm 50% of that. There you go, Ralph. There you go. Scott D is here. Hey there, Scott D. Brad Brooks. Hola, amigos. Hello, Brad. Good to see you here. But yeah, excited to be here with you today, Ralph, because that episode of Mandalorian is so freaking good. So good.
Did you wait? I haven't talked to you. Did you get a chance to listen to me and Colleen talking about episode 12?
No, I haven't.
Well, it's already available for free on my YouTube channel. Hey,
well,
Brad,
I pay for your Patreons.
I know. But it was really awesome. Just a quick follow up. It turned out great.
Even with Colleen, it turned out great.
Yeah,
I will say, your podcast for The Mandalorian is a lot of fun. I've been on it only once, and but I gotta give you kudos because with that amazing episode last week, you did one like right after, like that morning.
Yeah, that was a little nuts. That's not par for the course at all. I very much like to give my guests a weekend.
Mm-hmm.
To pick a time and do it whenever. Like me and Colleen did it on like Sunday afternoon because I'm like I like to get the shows up on Monday.
Yeah,
it gives everyone a chance to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like last week's episode was it was kind of a nice thing because we knew what was coming.
Yes,
we all knew it was Dave Filoni's episode, and so everyone's amped up for it.
Mm-hmm.
And usually I watch it Fridays during Stevie's lunch because she works on Fridays, but she had last Friday off. And so we watched it first thing in the morning as to not get spoiled.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then my guest, who kind of was a last minute change, was my friend James Hewlett. And James Hewlett lives in England.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, cool. I watch it at 6 a.m. We recorded like at 9 a.m,
yep.
Which is like, I don't know, like 7 or 8 his time, something like that at night.
Mm-hmm.
And the episode was super smooth. I didn't really have to do much editing. I dropped in music at the beginning and the end and just posted it.
Boom, real nice.
It went up. And that only went up, like the only people that knew about that episode going up on Friday was people who subscribe. So I still just did the regular social media post on Monday as I normally would with the Disney art that they drop on Mondays. StarWars.com puts out all this amazing artwork and production photos on Mondays.
StarWars.com is a really well-run website. They do a really good job. We have more people joining the show here. We got Michael Shields, who's Tree Shaker's cousin, which I was like, oh man, I need to hear from Tree Shaker. He had that big interview, so hopefully it went well. But hey, he's here too. Tree Shaker made it. Good to see you, Tree Shaker. Hope the interview went well. I think it was last week or before. Anyways, hope it went well. And even if it didn't, I'm sure it was great. But yeah, so let's just kind of jump right into. If you haven't watched Mandalorian, I'm sorry. Oh, he got it. All right, there we go. Nice.
Good job.
Good job. We knew
Awesome.
you could do it. We knew you could do it. So this had a lot of anticipation, especially with Ahsoka, Dave Filoni directing it. Like, there's just so much. It was very easy for it to fall short of that kind of the lofty goals. And more often than not, when Star Wars sets lofty goals for itself, it pisses off half of the fans.
The problem is that the fans are kind of setting it up, because as far as Disney goes, like, we don't know what's happening. We've already seen all of the footage that was in the trailers for the Mandalorian season 2.
Yeah, has
all been seen in the episodes.
Yeah.
So everything from here on out is all brand new footage.
Yeah.
And nothing gets leaked.
Mm-hmm.
But we knew
the episode was filmed like a year ago. The famous picture of George Lucas holding the baby Yoda, that was during shooting this episode.
Oh, really?
Did you hear that? Yeah. So
okay, so I have a theory.
As Ahsoka was like right off to the right or whatever of that famous photo of George Lucas holding baby Yoda. George Lucas was on set during the filming of that episode.
Okay, so I have a theory, and now that kind of, I'm going to say, confirms it, that George Lucas named the baby Yoda.
Really? You think so?
Yeah, it sounds like a George Lucas name.
Yeah, I know people are kind of giving flack for baby Yoda's name, which is Grogu, but I thought it fits, like Yoda, Yaddle, all kind of funky.
Hey, when the Mandalorian says Grogu and his ears perk up,
yeah,
dude, I immediately accept it.
Exactly.
Immediately accept it.
Yep.
So, yeah, I guarantee you, it's George Lucas came up with the name. I didn't know it was shot so long ago. I know they've been done with season, or they said that the stuff that's coming out this year, the design stuff for season 3 was finished a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
So they're
way further ahead than I thought they were. Again, that was a famous picture that made the rounds like right after the first season premiered or finished.
The shows have to be really quick to shoot. I feel like there's so much storyboarding, and you have to have the environments created for your shots in the volume.
You're right.
That the directors can probably just pop in, boom, 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 knock out episodes pretty quick.
Yep.
Oh,
yeah. No, that actually makes sense, because there's so much with the game engine and all that kind of stuff that has to be done pre-shooting. So that makes sense that it's that far ahead, actually. Jay Griffith says, I'm still calling him a child. That's fine. Call him whatever you want to call him. Call him baby or call him. There he is, right? There's Grogu right there. Grogu totally fits. Yeah, I agree. It's like, it's a cute name. It's fun. I like it.
I like it doesn't start with a Y.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't think it has to.
Wait, would Yaddle and Yoda's kid be called Yodel?
Yeah.
Bet says, will the Ahsoka spinoff basically be Star Wars Kill Bill, Kill Thrawn? I thought it set up the Rebels sequel series, essentially, and there's a thought that I think Filoni said it in his interview with Variety, that because a lot of people are saying, where did this take place? Because at the end of Rebels, you have Ahsoka kind of comes back for Sabine, and then they go off to find Thrawn, or Ezra, who's with Thrawn. And Filoni kind of put it out there that the events in this episode, we don't know exactly when the epilogue of Rebels happened. So the events in this episode could have potentially led to that epilogue where, Ahsoka's trying to find out information. She found out where Thrawn is, and then she goes back to get Sabine. That's kind of a theory right now. What's your thoughts on that possibility?
I have this thing where and you could hear it when I talked to James. The reason why I had James on, Kevin Kittredge, who does All Right, Let's Do a Podcast with Me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He was supposed to be on this week, hasn't watched any Clone Wars or Rebels. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, since the impending Ahsoka-ness of the episode was looming, I called an audible.
Yeah.
Because I know James has seen a lot of it. And I let him know that, I watched Rebels once, I
Hmm.
watched Clone Wars once, and it's not something like any information that I retain.
Hmm.
I feel like I understand that they're canon and they're kind of important to the overall Star Wars
Hmm.
universe, but I really sort of feel like they're um, EU to me, even though I
Hmm.
know they're canon.
Hmm.
So I'm not terribly like when Ahsoka does show up. I don't remember where she left off
Yep.
because you watch Rebels however many years ago, and then we saw Ahsoka just last year in
Hmm.
Clone Wars, and so
Kind
it's
of
hard
reroute.
to remember. Yeah, it's hard to remember where all the stuff fits in. What I'm glad about the episode is it doesn't dwell on that stuff.
Sure.
Um,
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
you need to, if you don't watch Clone Wars and you don't watch Rebels, it doesn't take away the enjoyment of this
Hmm.
show,
Yeah.
of this episode. Same with Bo-Katan, and I'm
Hmm.
glad that it's not a big deal. I'm glad that this is its own thing. She
Hmm.
just happens to be at that moment in time while this show's taking place.
Well,
So that's nice.
I like that it can be both. You don't have to be
No,
somebody that
yeah,
knows everything, or if you do,
mm-hmm.
like it adds another layer to it that you can enjoy.
Right,
And
right.
that
And
I
like it enhances Clone Wars and Rebels viewers'
hmm.
experience, but
Yep.
doesn't get in the way of the casual viewer,
Correct.
which is key. Which is key because I don't want the show to turn into Rebels or Clone Wars. I want it to be the Mandalorian.
Yep.
And if people from other properties show up, that's cool. On our last episode, I think I mentioned how bad I wanted Thrawn to be on the show. He's got a name drop, which is good.
Yep.
And I'm just a fan of Thrawn based on the '90s Timothy Zahn books.
Yep. Yep. Which a
Like
lot of people are.
I
Which a lot of people are. Yeah.
yeah. And so when he kind of popped up in Rebels, I was like, oh, cool. This is the most we'll ever see of him, and it's
Hmm.
nice to be able to see him interacting with in live action or
Yep.
animated, like moving
Absolutely.
around instead of just a book.
Yeah.
So I'm still hoping for that Pierce Brosnan
Hmm.
cameo at the end of season 2 as Thrawn. James on my podcast brought up I forget, he mentioned Jeremy Irons
Yep.
would
Yep.
be a great Thrawn. There's a few out there that I think would be cool, but um, we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah. I think to your point, I don't think this Ahsoka Thrawn thing is gonna. Maybe Thrawn will be kind of the emperor to the Vader Moff Gideon in the show, but I feel like that story, like you're right. I think it's just Ahsoka's kind of coming into the Mandalorian story for a bit, and
Right.
going back to her own thing. That's where I think it. This does seem like they will spin that off into the live action Rebels sequel series. And
Right.
so where they show, maybe they'll put Sabine somehow in
There's
this, but I feel like that's what that's going to turn into, its own thing.
what's great about this is, first of all, this episode's called The Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
Technically, she's not a Jedi.
Nope.
She left the Jedi Order.
Yep.
She does mention that there are Jedi still out there
Mm-hmm.
that were able to survive Order 66.
Yep.
That's cool. I
Mm-hmm.
saw a meme online of people saying that had like the scene of Obi-Wan and Yoda on Dagobah,
Mm-hmm.
where Obi-Wan says, "That boy is our last hope,"
Mm-hmm.
and Yoda replies, "No, there's another." Then they just like name drop a bunch of Jedi.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
Uh-huh.
Here's my issue with that. Darth Vader destroyed almost all of the Jedi,
Mm-hmm.
scoured the galaxy, killed them all, most of them,
Yep.
the majority of them off.
Yep.
Jedi are not going to stop Darth Vader. Anakin is too powerful.
Yep.
Luke is the only one that could stop him
Correct.
because he's related to him. He's his son. It's the only way that's going to break through
Mm-hmm.
because Anakin has all the stuff that Yoda mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Fear leads to anger. All of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Luke would be able to penetrate all of that, the fear, the anger.
Yep.
So he's the last hope.
Yep.
But there is another that can possibly break through, and that's Leia.
Exactly.
It's I don't know. Sometimes I see these memes and I just want to yell. I
Yeah.
just want to yell sometimes.
It's people being cranky on the internet, which is, half the people on the internet. Let's go to the chat real quick, just to kind of catch up here. Let's see. Master Van, I mean, it's Vader. It didn't start with a Y either. Let's see. Tree Shaker. That Beskar spear could be her staff at the end of Rebels, or did Mando take that with him? Go ahead.
I have a theory, and I think this is what's going to happen.
That he's going to take that Gideon with the Blake Darksaber?
No, he's going to take that spear to the armorer. The armorer's going to craft it into a samurai sword. Woo! That will be able to go up against the Darksaber. Does that sound better?
Yeah, I hope.
It's pure Beskar.
Well, yeah.
It's pure Beskar. So the fact that they mentioned it's pure Beskar, I'm like, okay. And it's able to stop a lightsaber. You're not going to see Mando with the spear. Ooh, I'm finding a... Nah, he's going to craft that. Dude, if he doesn't make it a samurai sword, then what are they even doing? Like, this whole episode was a complete homage to every Kurosawa movie ever.
Yeah.
If he doesn't take... And we haven't seen the armor this season. She was a big part of season 1. Mm-hmm. They made it a point in the previous episode to show that the Mando symbol wasn't at the armorer's place, which leads you to wonder where she is. Yeah, he's got to visit, and he's going to fashion that thing into a sword.
Okay,
a good old samurai sword.
I'm all for it. Do
you get that Mando get up with the baby underneath and a sword?
Yeah, it'd be cool as hell. I'm there. I'm with you. That'd be awesome. Scott D, did Ahsoka execute the magistrate lady? We don't know, right? I feel like if they don't show it, we assume she's alive. That's my policy with anything ever. If they don't show him being decapitated,
we learned that with Lost.
Yeah, exactly. Unless I see him somehow completely the life gone from them. Even then.
You don't know.
Yeah. How do you feel, James? Colleen says she looked at your ep with James and she said it was great. There you go.
Awesome. Thank you, Colleen, for listening to the show. That episode will be free on Monday, by the way. If you want to check it out on the YouTube channel.
Absolutely. We can find right there. Brad Brooks says Ralph was talking about Mando getting a lightsaber to go toe-to-toe with Gideon on his podcast. Now he's got that Beskar spear.
Right.
There you go.
Right.
Jacob says Thrawn is such a great character. Agreed. And I really like how they did him in Rebels. Like, it was neat, to your point, like reading him in a book versus like seeing him. And sure, it's an animated show.
Like, what, 30 years later?
Yeah.
It was like, it was crazy.
It was neat and it was fun. I was on my podcast network on our Star Wars show, Owen and Bruce Barbecue. Chris, who's on that show sometimes, has never seen Rebels. So it was funny to hear the actor that he wanted, because he still had the voice in his head from when he read the books, when he was young, and he hadn't heard the Rebels kind of voice, which is different than I think he was going for in his head, which I thought was kind of interesting.
Speaking of Owen and Barbecue, this week's guest for tomorrow's episode will be Nicholas Dunn.
Oh, that's
Nicholas
exciting.
Dunn will be joining me. Yeah.
Nick Dunn is one of the most cantankerous Star Wars fans you'll ever meet.
He wanted the Ahsoka episode, but was out of town for Thanksgiving, and I was like, okay, I think I'm okay with that. I'm really afraid. I'm really afraid what's going to happen, because he can get really, he can get really, really upset with Star Wars. His disapproval comes through his microphone. So we'll see.
He's one of those Star Wars fans.
Right.
Let's see. I hope we get to see a courageous Luke, not cowardly hiding Ryan Johnson Luke. Now listen, I dug Last Jedi. I really loved that movie. Hated whatever the last one was, but I loved Last Jedi. Now, so I didn't mind that version of Luke. Because I think that was even George's idea, was to have a hermit Luke, essentially, way back 30 years ago or 40 years ago, when he told there's interviews of Mark Hamill saying that. But it would be cool. And I don't know if we've talked about it, but I have talked about it before. The recasting of Luke, I don't mind. I don't mind if they hire what's his name, Sebastian Stan, who looks just like a young Mark Hamill,
right?
To play 30-something Luke. What's your thoughts?
It's discussed it on one of the shows. I feel like it's weird to have a new cast member in between a single performance.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, I mean, any Luke Skywalker, I'd be fine with.
Mm-hmm.
You know, yeah, I think it would set a precedent for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if the scene is amazing, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like okay, for those of you that watch Rebels, there's a scene late in the series where Darth Maul
Goes
and confronts
Yeah.
Obi-Wan.
Mm-hmm.
And the Obi-Wan is full on Alex Guinness.
Yep. Ben Kenobi. Yeah.
And like it was kind of weird because it wasn't like Clone Wars Obi-Wan.
Mm-hmm.
It was a recreation of Alec Guinness.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like totally okay with it because the scene was amazing.
Oh, beautiful.
I think the scene was amazing.
Yeah.
So it depends. Like if the scene is amazing, if there's a reason to have Luke Skywalker in this story,
mm-hmm.
and you can pull it off like a really great scene,
mm-hmm.
awesome.
Yeah.
But you don't really need him. But if they have something in mind, I'm fine with it.
Yeah. Well, I think, you know, and Filoni was a big part of that kind of the final confrontation between Obi-Wan and Darth Maul.
Yeah.
Because that relationship started in Phantom Menace through all of Clone Wars, still being driven through Rebels, and then that I just thought it was a really beautiful scene between the two of them, like really beautiful.
Right.
So yeah, I'm on that kind. I don't mind. I do get the argument that, well, it's in between the time, I guess, kind of weird, but I'd be cool if it's done well. It could be done well. Lars Mikkelsen's voice is Thrawn. I could totally play him. Yes, he's Mads Mikkelsen's brother. Yeah, I think he could do a great job. The voice he did in Rebels was great, and the acting I've seen him in, like he was the big bad of the last season of Sherlock. I think he'd do a great job. Colleen loves.
What about Benedict Cumberbatch?
Benedict Cumberbatch would be great too.
I didn't even think about it. Yeah.
Yep.
If you're gonna put Benedict Cumberbatch in the Star Wars universe,
has to be Thrawn.
Right? He's got to be an Imperial, and he's got to be an important one.
Yeah.
Like,
dude,
he would be a great Thrawn.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they can get anybody they want.
It's true, and he could maybe redeem himself for people that kind of got mad about his portrayal of Khan, which I thought was fine.
Listen, can I tell you something?
Sure.
So during the quarantine, like over the last 4 months, I watched all the Star Trek, the original series, and then I watched all the movies.
Okay.
And I started watching the Next Generation movies, which apparently I forgot. Insurrection. Oops. I need to go. But I started watching the Kelvin movies, and so now it's hard to go back because I'm not the biggest fan of the Next Generation characters.
Really, TNG is my favorite personally.
But I've been watching Voyager, which I watched a little bit of Voyager when I was in high school. But I was gonna say I'm fine with what JJ did in Star Trek Into Darkness.
Yeah,
I thought the movie was just fine. It's a completely different timeline.
Yep.
They tell you in the movie, hey, because of this event with Nero blowing up your dad's ship, like we splintered off. Everything is different from they tell you in the movie. So why not make it different? That being said, I watched Star Trek Beyond the other night. This is the first time I saw it. Yeah, that movie's awesome. I love that movie.
Yeah,
Star Trek Beyond is dope.
Yeah, it is. It's like again, it's kind of like a fresh take again. Like Colleen, I think, watched it on her own or something. She's like, you need to see it. Like, okay, cool. So then we watched it. Yeah, absolutely agree. But yeah, I was a TNG guy all the way. I used to watch it on TV, and then Voyager when it was between. I didn't like Deep Space Nine. Deep Space Nine. But I loved Voyager. Loved Voyager. Yeah. Let's see. There's a picture of Sebastian Stan floating as a younger Luke. It looks so good. Exactly. Yeah. I was just like, it looks just like him. He could do. He could do it. And he's on staff at Disney Plus anyway. He's doing that Captain America, whatever. Falcon and
Winter Soldier.
Yeah. Grogu's memory went dark for a long time. Maybe when he was taken from the temple and put into the beginnings of the Inquisitor program, he just ages so slow he outlived the group without being used. But then how did he get out? You know, I feel like he was smuggled out. He had to have been smuggled out.
Yeah.
Right?
Anakin took him.
Well, there's a lot.
If we get a flashback, yeah, I've seen.
You've seen like where it's him in a scene with the younglings, and then you see a little Grogu behind the chair. I love that. Brad Brooks says Sebastian Stan as Luke would be sick. Okay, a lot of Sebastian Stan fans.
And the thing is, everybody knows it. Like the internet knows. There's no way that Filoni and Favreau don't know that they could have Sebastian Stan be Luke. I think everyone is okay with it.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of...
And you would have, like if he shows up in The Mandalorian, the next day you're going to see a post from Mark Hamill that has him with his arm around Sebastian Stan on set, and everyone's going to be like, okay, it's okay. Like, I mean, yeah.
Yep.
We've already had other actors play Luke
in
a Star Wars movie.
Wait, who else in a Star Wars movie?
Episode 3. The little baby.
Oh, boo! Boo!
Hey, there's a precedent.
Boo.
There's not one Luke.
All right. Love Fett's call out here. Yes, a Hattori Hanzo Star Wars scene. That would be awesome. I love Kill Bill. That would be really nice.
But make it someone from the prequels. Someone that we didn't see die.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Agreed.
I don't know who.
The Tree Shaker. What if Gideon was an Inquisitor, fallen Jedi who took the child initially?
Right.
Okay. Be interesting. And that, I guess that would
got that look.
Yeah, and that would allow him, you know, because we only see him use the Darksaber to get out of a TIE fighter. Big deal. That's like a tool. It's like Han cutting open a tauntaun.
Yeah.
It would.
Han Solo with a lightsaber is badass.
It is. But you know, you'd want him to be able to wield it with some efficiency. So I think giving him that kind of background would make that, if that fight scene comes to pass, make it that much better. Colleen called out a joke that I made.
Yeah, that's the thing is with Chris in Boston being on that show, owning Bruce Barbecue sometime. Once season 3 comes around, he's got to step up if he wants to be on my show. He's the only one not on it. So
you heard it here, folks. You heard it. He told me, it's like, I got 2 kids. I don't have time. I was like, I've got 2 kids. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, stupid.
Lame. Okay. Jason Pittman, who, if this is Jason Pittman, I know. Hello, Jason. Good friend of mine. They could expect a what?
Ooh, autocorrect.
Yeah.
Good Jewish.
Oh, Jedi.
The autocorrect. Turn Jedi into Jewish.
A good Jedi and get bad Mara Jade. We could get a redemption arc based around Baby Yoda. That'd be cool. Bringing a Mara Jade.
Mm-hmm.
I'm down with it. What do you think?
Sure. I'm fine. I think I'm more fine with sort of 90s EU characters showing up than I am Clone Wars and Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more fun to I'd rather them expand the universe instead of making it smaller. And by having Bo-Katan makes total sense. Ahsoka makes it the universe feel a little bit smaller.
Mm-hmm. Because you hate Ahsoka, though. Like, in all fairness.
No, I actually got Stevie for Christmas the AT. Oh, what is it? The all-terrain attack tank. The AT. No, what is it? It's the one from episode 1. The droid. The battle droid tanks.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I forget the name. I got her that one just because it comes with an Ahsoka minifig.
Got the Black Series Ahsoka.
That looks like Rebels.
This is the Clone Wars, the end of Clone Wars Ahsoka.
Okay.
Finally arrived from my my pre-order. But anyways, let's see. Now they're kind of fan casting Mara Jade. I like Jay Griffin's suggestion here. The lady played Ygritte in Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
Be cool.
All right.
Rose Leslie, I guess that's Carly Sands is her name.
I guess pretty much anybody with
George apparently hated Mara Jade. But sorry, George, it's not yours anymore. You sold it.
But Filoni would probably squash it then.
Oh, that's true. He's such a George Lucas acolyte. Kyle Katarn is showing up at the top of that temple from Dark Forces game. Jason, whoever plays her has to be in her 30s lineup with the timeline. Very true. So yeah, I'm down for anybody. I don't hate Ahsoka like Ralph does. I really love Ahsoka. She's.
I'm not even going to respond to that.
No
problem with Ahsoka.
Colleen says the end of Clone Wars Ahsoka is technically Rebels Ahsoka, right? I mean, pretty much. If you're going to be over, well, no, because here's the difference. See here, she has blue lightsabers. Okay, all right, and in Rebels she has white lightsabers. Totally different.
Hasbro messed up.
No, because remember in Clone Wars, she left the Jedi. She left her lightsabers behind, and Anakin, changed them blue so that'd be more like his, because he thinks they're better. And so that was like a little signal of Anakin's kind of possessiveness, which is what leads to his downfall. So she leaves the lightsabers behind, right? And later on, she takes lightsabers from the Inquisitors, and she changes the red crystal into like no color, and that's why she has those white bladed lightsabers. LOL, silly me forgetting about its colors. Listen, it's fine. It's fine. You're not a true Star Wars fan. All right. Let's just get the Ahsoka of it. You're not a gigantic Ahsoka fan, but what did you think of Rosario Dawson's portrayal of the character?
You keep saying that I'm not a fan. I like Ahsoka. I just don't need her like to show up everywhere but the Skywalker saga. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like we can have a break. I thought Rosario Dawson was great.
Mm-hmm.
She definitely looked like Ahsoka. They put her in a lot of like iconic poses from Clone Wars.
Yes. A lot of iconic poses for sure.
Iconic shots, iconic everything. It was good. I thought she was great.
Yeah, I think so too.
I have no
issue. And I know, and I believe Scott D brought it up earlier in the chat. It's probably too hard to find it. But there's kind of, still people kind of griping that here we go. A lot of big Clone Wars Ahsoka fans upset Filoni didn't cast Ashley Eckstein, the voice actress who does the voice acting. And I think it may be more of just she probably can't do this. Maybe they didn't think she could do the stunts well or whatever. Like just didn't her human form didn't match maybe what they were looking for that she portrayed in the voice. And so I do get maybe not digging that move, but I was okay with it. And
I feel like as soon as Disney, so every Monday Disney throws out all the artwork from the show, it's kind of they lift the moratorium on keeping stuff spoiler free. And as soon as they posted the updated picture of Rosario Dawson, Ashley Eckstein retweeted it and sent out a thing about Ahsoka and how she's everybody's character. She belongs to everybody pretty much. So it wasn't anything where she felt bad about it.
Yeah.
She probably just couldn't talk about it. She probably wasn't allowed to talk about it. I guarantee you that as soon as Rosario Dawson got, cast or even before, I'm sure Filoni was talking to Ashley Eckstein about the character, and then Rosario Dawson worked with her to talk about the character. I'm sure everything is fine, but she couldn't talk about that stuff, and so people were saying she was mad, and then people were saying she was mad, but she couldn't respond because she probably signed an NDA freaking over a year ago, apparently, when they shot this thing. So it's not, it's not, I don't know. I just feel like. I've said it before. I said it again. We had an animated version in Harley Quinn forever. And
Mm-hmm.
now we have a live action one, and everyone loves the live action one. Can
Yeah.
still love the old one. I love
Yep.
both versions of Harley Quinn. I now love both versions of Ahsoka. So I don't see, yeah, I don't think there's any problem. I think
Yeah.
people need to cool out.
Yeah, and I thought, and again, I thought Ahsoka did a great job, like just and great acting too. There's a few scenes where she really captured a lot of the emotion there, where and the one specifically where she doesn't want to take on Grogu because she's seen what happens when someone who has attachments, gets trained into a full-fledged Jedi.
Right.
And I could see the pain of Anakin in her face because obviously she still carries it with her. And to me, that moment, I was like, that's Ahsoka. And there's a lot of other great where it's great that episode was directed by Filoni, this character that he essentially created. So being able to be there, and to make sure that all these scenes kind of matched that character. And to your point, probably Ashley Eckstein was involved as well. Led to, I thought, a really, really good performance. And I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Fetz says, are the Mandalorian and or Ahsoka at risk of becoming the Forrest Gump of Star Wars? Turns out they influenced everything. I disagree because they're not necessarily influencing. They're just kind of like happening, and they just happen to.
Just like Forrest Gump.
Forrest Gump is like somehow led to these huge events because he just happened to be there or whatever. Like he showed Elvis how to dance or something like that. Nothing is that extreme as Forrest Gump, which is boomer porn. But let's see here. Jason says Rosario had all the body language down. She knows. I agree. Yeah, again, just like all the manner, everything. I thought she did a really, really good job. Tree Shaker says Rosario's form was perfect. Me and my fiance watched it twice. Colleen says I think she looked the part, had all the body language down, and for having a different voice intonation, did a really great job getting the same cadence. Yeah, there was a couple times, especially like the opening scene, where when she was talking, I was like, oh, she kind of sounds like Ashley a little bit here. Like I thought she, even did the voice pretty well, considering she's a different human being. I thought it wasn't an imitation; it was her own voice, but it hit the rhythm right. Something nobody talks about is how Mando went to get Grogu, but was in no rush, took sweet time, rocked him, sleeping, hugging him, and etc. I thought it was sweet. I thought it was a really sweet scene where they kind of had that moment there because he thought he was, saying goodbye. I really dug that. Fett says Tom Hanks for Thrawn.
No.
That would be, because Tom Hanks now is playing a lot of these famous, real people now. He's done Sully Sullenberger, Mr. Rogers, maybe Walt Disney. It's too much. Listen, I love Hanks just as much as the next guy, but it's too much, Hanks. Chill out. Jay Griffiths says the Mandalorians are only essential because the Republic didn't want them amassing another force of war. That's there. I mean, it's kind of sad the Mandalore and the planet just so ravaged by war throughout its history, and these different factions and how they were kind of neutral to the Republic, and I guess it's kind of it's a sad story for those people just because so much of their society has been ravaged by infighting, war that came to them, oppressive regimes like the Empire coming and decimating. Like it is a sad story for all of them. And I that's why I really dug the Bo-Katan episode where it's like, oh, well, you're part of the Watch. That's fanatical cult. And even still, there's just the kind of the different ideologies and infighting and stuff like that. I think it's a really compelling story as far as the Mandalorian are concerned, or Mandalores. I think the Mandalorians, Mandalori
from Mandalore.
Mandalores. That makes sense, right?
Mangalores.
The Mangalores. Final thoughts on the episode, Ralph.
It's great.
You've already talked about it on your podcast, but
yeah, it's great. It's a self-contained episode.
Mm-hmm.
We only have 3 more left.
We had Michael Biehn in it.
Michael Biehn, Kyle Reese.
Kyle Reese, savior,
Yeah.
father to
John Connor.
John Connor. Thank you. Which doesn't make any sense, but sure.
What? He makes sense.
Because at the end where Linda Hamilton's like, oh, he must have known that he had to send his father back in time to create him.
Yeah.
That's some time travel tomfoolery, if you ask me. Let's see. Jacob says Mandoo. Scott D, do you think Gideon is set up as home base, set up his home base on Mandalore and rules it with the Darksaber? He seems to be a Moff that is just overseeing this,
he's
this region.
He's still like obedient to the Empire.
Oh yeah,
that's what that feels like. Yeah.
Bradbrook says Lieutenant Hicks. End of show Mando helps retake it. That's to me like with the whole introduction to Bo-Katan, House Vizsla, taking back the Darksaber, reclaiming Mandalore, all that stuff. I would assume maybe it's not the end of this season, but at some point that's going to be a storyline that kind of comes into play, whether he decides to be a part of it or not.
Mm-hmm.
Wing Chow, Ryan Moore. What's the reference? I'm blanking on the reference.
He wants me to talk about it.
Oh, okay.
Should we talk about it?
Sure, talk about it.
The actor that played the new mayor of that town.
Yep.
The guy that was in the alley at the beginning, is not an actor. He is a Disney legend who is an Imagineer.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. And he said I think his mom said she always wanted him to be an actor or something, and so this was kind of his chance to be an actor.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
I love that. That's cool. That's really cool.
The Magistrate? Is that what he was?
No, the Magistrate was, what's her name?
Yeah, but he's like the new Magistrate.
Oh, maybe. Yeah. Jason says Gideon with the home base on Mandalore would be a cool twist. Colleen says super cool twist. So yeah, I really dug it. 45-minute episode, felt like a movie, really contained story. And I'm glad that I know you have concerns with kind of bringing in these other characters into the show, but I'm glad it wasn't a cameo. I'm glad we got to see full on, Jedi sabered Ahsoka. It wasn't just like, oh, hey, there's Ahsoka. I can't really take him by. I love that we got a full lived in episode with Ahsoka that also had Mando being a badass, like the kind of showdown at the end with Michael Biehn, Lieutenant Hicks was really cool. I loved how it interspersed with, the kind of samurai, in duel with the Magistrate. Like I thought that was really neat. So I on every level, there was a lot of expectations, high expectations for the episode, and it managed to meet, if not exceed them for me, and really, really loved it. Oh, and that's right. No one's going to talk about how the Magistrate trained with Bruce Lee. So she was Bruce Lee's goddaughter. It's really cool. Really, really cool. So there you go. Episode or chapter 13, episode 5 of season 2. The Jedi's a 5, 4, 5. Really, really dug it. All right, Ralph. Last bit of big news here. HBO Max today. Is it today they announced it?
Yeah.
Hours ago. Is gonna post like all their movies to HBO Max.
Every Warner Brothers movie slated for 2021 will show up on HBO Max the same day that it's released in theaters.
It's huge.
We talked about it on our last episode about Wonder Woman coming to HBO Max the same day. So what's going to happen is the movie will show up on HBO Max the same day and be on there for 31 days.
Yep.
So you'll be able to watch any of these movies. And I think the slate of movies is something like 17 movies. And that's not including Justice League. So that means what they're doing is, because we mentioned it last time, they're making something like $570 million a month on subscriptions.
Yep.
I'm assuming that as soon as December 1st hit the other day or 2 days ago,
Yep.
that their sales skyrocketed because people want to get Wonder Woman. So December 1st, people probably all signed up. So their viewership probably went up greatly. And they're going to want to keep those people on board. So they're still releasing the movies in theaters, but they're also going to try to keep people, subscribed throughout the year. I guarantee you, when everybody sits down on Christmas Day to watch Wonder Woman at their home, there's going to be a trailer of all 17 movies coming this year to HBO Max. And they're big ones too. Suicide Squad, Matrix 4, Kong versus Godzilla.
Warner Brothers Pictures Group's 2021 expected release slate currently includes The Little Things, Judas and the Black Messiah, Tom and Jerry, Godzilla vs. King Kong, Mortal Kombat, Those Who Wish Me Dead, The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It, In the Heights, Space Jam, A New Legacy, The Suicide Squad, Reminisce, Malignant, Dune, Fates of Newark, King Richard, Cry Macho, and Matrix 4? What?
Right. So you're not going to unsubscribe. That's 17 movies in 12 months. Why would you stop? And every time you watch a movie, they're going to tell you what the next one is. Zack Snyder's Justice League, like I mentioned, isn't in there. We got some other movies, that are probably going to be released to HBO Max regardless. Dude, I'm fired up.
It's awesome.
I'm fired up. And it still gives people the chance to go see it in the theater. They're not taking away that experience.
Yeah.
So it's the best of both worlds. For people who are cool with going out in the public, that's fine. For people like me who aren't, it's perfect because I get to see these movies. I've been waiting for Godzilla vs. Kong for like 2 years now. Yeah. They were just on the cusp when the pandemic started of showing a trailer. We still haven't seen any footage from Godzilla vs. Kong.
Yeah. It was supposed to be released right around that time because my toy show is at an IMAX theater. It shares space with an IMAX theater. We're supposed to coincide it with Godzilla versus King Kong, but it got delayed till the fall of this year. So it got delayed before the pandemic and then got delayed even more, which is sad.
I saw Patty Jenkins retweet somebody who said, "What if I can't afford it?" It's gonna be HBO Max is $15 a month, which is almost the price of a ticket, and you're able to show anybody in your house the movies.
Yeah. If you think about it, like we have a Cinemark right across the street from our house that Colleen and I go to. Not much anymore, but before we'd go all the time, and they have a movie program like a pass. It's $8.50, and you get a free ticket every month. But and so we have pretty decently priced tickets there because of that program. So it's like $8.50 a ticket. But in most major cities, you're getting $12, $13 a ticket. And if there's two people, you're already pushing $30. So $15 a month to watch.
You're getting at least one movie a month. Not to mention all of their back catalog. Not to mention DC shows and HBO shows.
Yeah.
You get your John Olivers and all of this stuff. I'm fired up, man. HBO Max is just like, let's do it. And I'm excited. I'm excited because of the success. It'll I don't know. I just feel like the success of Wonder Woman will prove to everybody like this is a viable way of doing it. They got to get these movies out. They can't sit on the shelf any longer. Wonder Woman was supposed to come out like a year ago.
Yeah.
Then it went back to its original July, or there was a June opening. So they took that and that screwed everything up. So this movie has been waiting for this movie for a really long time.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it does well. I think their subscribers numbers have to be going up.
Yeah.
There's no way it's going down.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about Matrix 4, but I'm excited.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I don't have to.
Sisters,
go.
Are I had
Yeah,
no
Lana's directing it.
Oh, really?
Lana's directing. Yeah.
Awesome.
So it's like, I mean, yeah, we want to see it in the theater, but like, I just want to see these movies. So
Mhm.
I can't wait. Like, I'm hoping. I wish Sony had something because I really want to see Ghostbusters and I really want to see No Time to Die.
I know, but Sony's
But
not doing
but
anything.
I mean, if Sony can talk to HBO Max, I
They're
don't
not.
know.
They're not going to give their IP to WB.
But I want to see it, dude.
So do I. But we're not getting
Um,
Ghostbusters till next summer.
yeah, but that's the thing is, who is it? Oh, it was just reported that Netflix wanted to buy Godzilla versus Kong for 200,000 or 200 million or something, some
What?
insane number. Yeah,
What?
there was a news story this week that Netflix wanted to buy it to stream, to have the streaming rights for it, and
Whoa.
I guess HBO is like, nah, we got our own plan. Um, but I mean, I could see Netflix. Why wouldn't Netflix be like, hey, let's strike up a deal? Because you're not gonna make the 200 million at the box office for
But if I
Ghostbusters.
was the studio, I'd be screw you because like we've already spent 200 million, so I'm just gonna break even and let you get all the benefits. I wouldn't do
Well,
that.
I'm sure they would get some sort of percentage for viewership, but I don't know. I don't at this point, like HBO really sticking their neck out and going for it. Unlike Disney, who the Mulan thing with the premium pay and stuff,
But would
kind
you
of
expect any
it was a
less?
bad template. It was a bad template.
It's kind of it's a different take where HBO Max is more expensive. It's $15 a month. But from
Right.
my perspective, it was always like, well, HBO, if I had it for cable, it would be at least $15 a month. So that's
Right.
fine. And now they've added all this other stuff to it. So I'm like, cool. I'm perfectly. I was paying $15 anyway before Max got merged into this, and so now we're getting all these movies, which is great. But Disney Plus is $6.99, and I did the
Right.
223 deal, so it's like I paid $2.99 for a month, but I had to pay it all up front for 3 years. So
But it definitely puts pressure on Disney.
it does, but they
Yeah,
can't.
if
I
this
don't think they can because they're only charging $6.99 a month. Like they don't. I don't think they
yeah.
have the cover for it, and that's why I
But
think.
I'm assuming they're putting some sort of pressure on Disney to do something with Black Widow. I feel like something has to happen with Black Widow.
It's ridiculous at this
Yeah.
point. Ridiculous.
Right.
But let's see. Scott D says Sony should team up with Disney and buy half a stake in Hulu and put their movies on Hulu. But Disney bought out. Disney bought out Comcast shares or WB shares. I thought they bought everybody else's shares out of Hulu. I think it's just Disney now, isn't it?
Yeah, I think they own it outright.
Talking about the Wonder
But
Woman.
I mean, Disney does have a relationship with Sony. They have the Spider-Man relationship.
But that's a tenuous relationship at best.
Yeah, but still, I mean, desperate times. Listen, I'm trying to get you to see Ghostbusters, and I know that these corporations watch this show. They watch this show because they squashed us while we try to show Clone Wars footage. So they're watching.
They don't. It's an algorithm that just senses it and then shuts it down. Let's see. Wonder Woman 84 runs for 2.5 hours. I'm okay with that. I don't think
especially at home, if I could pause. I'm not going to want to pause it, but if I need to,
yeah, you can pause for pee breaks.
Listen.
That was stressful about Endgame. What? Go ahead.
She doesn't watch the show, so I can say this, but I would rather pause the movie than have Stevie get up and go to the bathroom during it, because it drives me nuts when she does that, and she does it every movie, and I get so furious.
Does she come back like, oh, what's going? What happened?
She knows not to, but like it's Star Wars. This is the first time we're watching a Star Wars. What do you? So I'm fine watching it at home.
Here's the thing. So why don't you just? Do you have to sit on the aisle? Why don't you just have her sit to the left so that way it doesn't concern you? Like, go ahead, go.
Listen, Star Wars is very important.
I agree. But I'm saying if she's leaving and she's to the side, she's not affecting you. You can watch it. Like, go ahead, go.
No, just knowing she left. Okay, we went and saw Spider-Man 2, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man 2.
Sure, great film.
She got up and went to the bathroom.
Okay.
It was a scene where the doctors were trying to take the things off of Doc Ock, and the arms starting attacking the doctor.
Yeah.
It's like the most Sam Raimi scene since Evil Dead 2.
Sure. Yeah.
And she left during that and came back, and I'm like, because she just went to the bathroom, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me! Like, you missed the most amazing thing. So yeah, like at the end credits, I'm like, you missed the most amazing scene ever. She's like, shut up. I said, no, you're gonna have to wait 3 or 4 months when we get the DVD. I can't like it.
At this point, do you because they have like that website that shows you when to take your pee breaks? Like, do you give her like that printout so she knows?
No,
when you get out?
I just know it's gonna happen. It was just fine, which is fine. But like when it's Star Wars, I'm like, oh my god, how are you? We were watching a Star Wars for the first time.
Colleen, my wife, she has to take pee breaks all the time, but it's just like, again, you go. I'm watching it. I don't care. You missed out. I'm still enjoying it. You missed out. That's not me. But I will say Endgame was really stressful because it's 3.5 hours and they didn't do an intermission. That one was tough. And I think I did end up having to take a pee break. And I did they had the kind of the map to show you like what scenes you could, because everyone was worried about the
Oh yeah, they kept saying the scene with Hawkeye in where is he, Beijing or something.
I stayed for that one. There was a few ones. I stayed for that one because I the Ronin story I thought was interesting. I left once they went to the army camp, like the first scene. So I ran out, pee break, and then ran back in.
It drives me nuts.
Well, at 3.5 hours, come on! If I drink a big soda, I don't have that kind of bladder control. Googled Endgame was 302, but we were all emotionally raw that same weekend because that's right. Game of Thrones. You're right. I guess December 20th will be emotionally hot because of 2020. Jacob says truest thing I've read all night. Way to whisper around.
Like, you guys don't know this, so my computer monitor is here. About this far is the wall that separates me and her. So,
David,
kind of bringing in a little bit.
Steven, your husband. I know. I'm just.
We can't hear you do that. Oh, hey, did you notice this back here this week?
Yeah, well, that's a new setup there. What do you got?
I change it every week. That is the Star Wars Lego Advent Calendar.
Oh, nice. I was
trying
to do that. And
I'm going to spoil 3 since it's the 3rd.
Okay, let's see. What do you got?
So day 1 was a little teeny A-Wing.
Love it.
Day 2 is what I'm calling Snow Dameron. I think that might be too bright.
Snow Dameron, I love it.
But it's him from the holiday special, Lego House. And today, speaking of Owen and Bruce Barbecue, we have the Lars Homestead in super tiny form.
That's really cool.
Yeah, how cool is that? So that's the first 3 days. But so hidden behind the doors are one letter for different codes, for one letter for one code, so that you can unlock a special character on Lego Skywalker Saga when it comes out.
That's cool.
So I'm hoping it's Snow Dameron because he's cool.
Snow Dameron's pretty dope. I love that.
BB-8.
I absolutely love that. Sherry says my husband does the same thing. His just a minute turns into 6 minutes. That's too long. Pee break should be a minute max, unless you're Tom Hanks in League of Their Own. Jacob says when you gotta go, you gotta go. One of the best lines in cinema. When you gotta go, you gotta go. Jurassic Park. Scott D says, is she in the next room while you chat about her? So I think Ralph already answered that question.
And I know she can hear me through the wall. So that's why I was whispering.
Tree Shaker says, Jay and Colleen, before we close, I just got engaged on Sunday and I want some good advice. Well, first of all,
what a great week.
Seriously, new gig, engaged. That's awesome. Congratulations, Tree Shaker. That's great. My advice.
Don't ask. I've been married I've been with my wife for 21 years, but go ahead, ask Jay and Colleen. That's fine.
Hold on. Is here? Maybe he didn't realize you're a great story, which is really adorable, and I love it. But anyways, I'll go first, and then you can. My advice would be listen to each other. And there's going to be times you don't want to. And you may not even have to act like you're listening, but you have to take a time after the fact and then actually try to listen to what they're saying. And not, it depends who you are, but also like figure out who you are as individuals so that you can better understand yourselves as a couple. I think for Colleen and I, it took us a long time to kind of figure out who we were as individuals. Because there was just a lot of just like getting ticked off about things that at the end of the day didn't matter. And once we
Tron machines,
there's going to be things like that. Those will always pop up. But figuring out who you are yourselves and like what makes you happy, and then coming together as a couple, and then being really good partners and supporters of each other is key. Ralph, what's your advice?
Yeah,
don't go to the bathroom during a movie.
It drives me nuts. You're gonna find a lot of things that drive you nuts.
True, that's true.
Some things don't have to be brought up because they're trivial. No sense in doing that. No, just I mean you gotta remember that you guys are each other's best friend, and treat each other like best friends. Don't I don't know. Just don't be an a-hole. Like it's hard to, you're going to be living with someone the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Pace yourself.
You're going to get annoyed at each other. You're going to.
There's not, I mean, this quarantine, dude, like I haven't left the house in 8 months, and the place is so small that I record from the bedroom. So you gotta realize that the little things don't matter. Don't squabble over stupid stuff. It just it's not worth it. Plus you just kind of want to that stuff will come out later, like when you actually get into a fight. You start all those things that you were like that just kind of picked at your nerves will just come out during those fights later. So
you're doing your future stuff a favor.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. It's fun knowing that you'll have a best friend for the rest of your life. Don't lose sight of that. And yeah, just to have fun. Go do stuff.
It's true. Have fun. I do, and it does help when the person is your best friend. Like I know Colleen is my best friend, and my wife's a New York Italian, so it's not, I know she's going to be aggressive and the New York a-hole that a lot of New Yorkers are, but like it's just, I accept that because that's who she is and I love her. So and there's a lot of things about me being a very lackadaisical San Diegan that is very annoying to her. So it's like you're going to have the things that annoy you about each other, but I think accept those for what they are, but also realize, it is your best friend, and sharing that time together is really important.
And that's the thing is, like, she knows I don't like it when she goes to the bathroom during movies, but it's this sort of unwritten rule that we just don't talk about it. So that's why I whisper into the microphone. But there's certain things where you'll start to learn each other's mannerisms really quick, and you'll know kind of what gets under your skin, when not to bother them, when to console them, when to, you'll be able to, you'll figure it out. It's not scary. I'll let you know that. Don't ever, not even the ceremony. I always tell people, this is the one thing I do tell people when they're about to get married. I ask them if they're nervous, and if they say yes, I said that you don't have to be, because even though you're in front of like all of your friends and family, you're not facing them. The only people you face during the ceremony is your wife, or your husband, or the person officiating the wedding. Like if you've seen that movie, the Sam Raimi movie For Love of the Game, when they pitch and all the sound of the crowd dies down, and it's just John C. Reilly, the catcher, talking to Kevin Costner, having a normal conversation. It's kind of like that. Everybody else gets drowned out. You won't be nervous. Eat a good breakfast. Nothing that's going to give you an upset stomach. eat something like just have some toast, have some toast and some juice or something. Bring some snacks to the wedding so that as soon as it's done, you can start chowing down on snacks.
If it's an open bar, you
But
need to bring stuff in.
yeah, but for the most part, I say for the ceremony, don't be nervous at all. All the people that are there when you're walking up the aisle are celebrating you. They're all going to have a smile on your face, and then from that point on, it's just all eyes are on your future husband or wife and the person officiating it. And it's a really cool thing because when you turn around and they say we now pronounce you husband and wife, and you kiss the bride and they say everybody this is so and so, Mr. and Mrs. so and so. That's the first time you turn around and they're all there, and you just completed this ceremony that you've seen so many times, but this time you're the one up there, and then you turn around and see everybody clapping, and it's like, oh my gosh, you almost forget that they're there. So it's really like what I say about marriages as far as the ceremony is, don't get nervous. I know a lot of time is spent building up to that day. Don't get nervous. It's just a celebration of you two. You're good. That's all I gotta say.
Enjoy. It's the best party of your life. Hopefully it's the best party of your life. It was
tell them not to get up during movies to go to the bathroom. It makes me, I think it's just because it makes me hyper aware of what they're missing, and I know I don't have to explain what they missed or what she missed, but I know it's just
you're so
I'm experiencing now. I'm stuck experiencing this thing by myself.
That's so cute. You're a cute soul, Ralph Hoppel. Let's see. Oh my god, I forgot about that website. Didn't we use it for Alien Sequel with Damon or whatever? I don't remember that. The Prometheus. I know I
never used it.
I did too. I looked up when the best to go. I will say that when I finally peed during the start of the credits for Endgame, it was literally and remains the best pee of my life. Well, there you go.
Did you make it back in time for the post credits? I don't think.
I think she did. I'm pretty sure she did. Sherry says, Jay, post what you're talking about with that site that you're talking about. It tells you want to go. I can't remember that. It's if you just Google it, like site that tells you what to go pee during a movie. It'll pop.
Best time to take a bathroom break.
Yeah. Phoenix Richardson says, "What the hell? It's not Sunday, and that's not John. Is Geek Dad cheating on us?" No, Phoenix. On Thursdays we do Screen Geeks. Sunday,
every single Thursday we do this. Never missed a Thursday.
But Phoenix always likes to drop a fun joke, so I think that's what that is. No sodas before movies for me. I usually hit the pub before the show anyway, and I hate myself for leaving during a flick. I am a Coke Zero or non-sugar soda of some sort. Colleen, our theater has a full beer taps and everything, or wine or whatever, so she usually gets a 20 or 22 ounce beer because she's way more badass than I am. Screen Geeks at Phoenix. One.
That was for Colleen.
Sherry says, love that, Ralph. Hi, Sherry. I sit through it. No pee breaks here. My ex will get up all the time for a pee break. Maybe that's why that's James' ex. I don't know, maybe. Couldn't. It was too much. Let's see. I would storm in and give advice, but I'm in my PJs. Oh, thank God. Nobody needs Colleen coming in here and giving advice. I love her, though. She's great. Give advice. Probably don't let her hear you talking about her through the walls. Go for it, Colleen. Thank God she didn't. Well said, Jay. Pick your battles. Pick your battles is huge. And Colleen says, what Jay says is true. Actually, figure out who you are as an individual. It's really important. If you both acknowledge and accept that, then it goes a really long way. Absolutely. So my office is in the basement, and the living room area is like right above, and Colleen usually sits like right there.
Stomp on the floor, Colleen.
I hear her like shout out at times or whatever. She makes a movement or something. I hear her right there. But anyways, let's see. Let's go through here. It's all about counting to 10 with the deep breath and then being like, is this a fight for now, or is this something I can win later? She's talking. I can't hear what she's saying, but I hear her talking loudly in her true Colleen sense. This is great. Thanks for being real, Ralph. Loving this. Sherry is a great soul. She's been in our house before. Look at you. You got very warm lining on.
Why am I orange? I know. I think because I bent down. Look at that.
It went away.
I don't know, dude.
There was a magical there for a
second. Maybe because of what I drank.
Colleen says, generally we win later like 80% of the times, and they forget about it that 20%. Well, thanks for sharing your secrets, Colleen. Despite what the Spice Girls say, do not get with her friends. Very funny. Trisha says, thanks, peeps. Jay, this is way so true. So true, Ralph. I don't know exactly what it's about because we're a few minutes behind. We got married the same day that Prince William and Kate did. Yes, Colleen and I did. It was a fun wedding.
Ralph, I was there.
You were there. I said to myself right before I walked down the aisle, if that chick can do this in front of literally the entire world, then I can do it in front of 100 people. That's true. I think I remember Colleen telling me that. I have the app, Sherry. I will message it to you. Well, Colleen, message to everybody else. What are you doing?
Yeah, drop it in the chat.
I get 16. I peed every 30 minutes. That time I got 20 ounces. Oh, that's true. That's true. Colleen does get 16 ounce. Ralph knows my story. Ralph's in the volume with those background changes. Lightning change.
I don't know what happened. I kind of like where I'm at now. I'm a little neutral. I'm not blue, but that orange was cool.
The app is called Run P. So Colleen posted this in the chat. She literally just cracked the door open to tell me it's Run P. That is my wife in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen. All right. On that note, great end of the show with marriage. That was a good talk. All right. Well, that'll do it for this episode of Screen Geeks. Remember, we do Screen Geeks Thursdays at 9 p.m. I am joined by the incredible, uncomparable legend of the internet, Ralph Oppel. And Ralph, thank you for doing these. And for anybody right now, Ralph is only 7 subscribers away from 100. So that this thing right here, youtube.com/casino skunk, give the man a sub. He has a crap ton of good content. Yeah. He even when he's working.
And my Mandalorian show is free on there. 1 week after the episode drops on Patreon. So if you want to hear me and Colleen talk about Chapter 12, it's up there now. And then me and James, who is the future co-host of Invincipod, starring yours truly, on this week's episode. That'll drop on Monday. Talk about Ahsoka some more.
Phoenix says, I didn't know you were from San Diego. Sweet. I'm from Temecula wine country. Temecula is a great part of town. Yeah,
I've been to wineries there.
Yeah, and Ralph is not too much further north in Orange County.
I'm in Anaheim.
There's many times I'm jealous that because I've been to Ralph's place and literally there's an In-N-Out burger like a stone
right across the street.
A stone's throw from his apartment.
It's right across the street.
And I know
in between it is a movie theater.
And I know you work at Disneyland, so it doesn't have the same effect for you as me. As like I just love Disneyland, and not all Disney parks. For me, I just have a very like nostalgic attachment to Disneyland because that's what I grew up with. But so again, you're really close to Disneyland too, which is really cool. Plus the beautiful ballpark for the Angels. Anyways, great spot. Great spot in SoCal. Tree Shaker says, Ralph, you got my sub, brother. There we go. We got
Thank
one.
you very much.
There we go. Mandalorian says, this is the way.
Can I just say something real quick about my YouTube page? So I post all my video content for Patreon. Once a year has passed, I post the videos on my YouTube page for everybody to listen to. Yeah. This week, I'm orange again. This week, I posted the No Time to Die trailer breakdown that I did a year ago.
I remember
that movie's still not out yet. So you're getting new content that's still my same speculations from a year ago. You could watch that on my YouTube channel.
I remember when that posted because Colleen and I are Patreon supporters, but that's I didn't even think about that. I feel like that was forever ago. It was a year ago.
It was a year ago.
Seen that movie.
It was like a year ago. I think it was a year ago in like 2 days.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Colleen or James Rice says them Sicilianos are spicy. They are. I love Mediterranean women, and you gotta accept what comes with that, and that's I should accept it. Colleen is pure. We did the 23andMe. She's like 99% Mediterranean. It's Jacob says now I'm jealous, and James Rice says when I worked at Disney, I still enjoy it, but from a different angle.
We work together, me and James.
It's like I've worked for Apple or Google. I've worked for companies, and for me, it's always I still love Apple, but it's different. Like it's like I've been through things with that thing, and it's not the same. It's not as same and shiny as it was before, But anyway, right. Anywho, that's a good place to close it out. We've gone over our time. Thank you, everyone, and we'll see you next Thursday. Until then, hasta luego, and goodbye.